Hey, what's up? It's Zax and Jimfro from Ready Check Pool. This is podcast number 16. Holy shit, it's 16 already. What's up, Jim? How you doing?
I'm doing good. We're cruising, dude.
Dude,
We're every
16?
week, 16 weeks of
What?
podcasts.
I think
That's
we say this
cray.
every time. But
But
yeah,
that's like
last
3 months, bro. That's the 3 month
yeah,
mark, right? This is our third month.
is how
Hell
that
yeah.
works?
I
Yeah,
don't
it's
know.
adding up. It's adding up quick, dude. Last week's podcast was a little weird because we just covered the Shadowlands developer update thingy that Conduit that Ian dropped that had all kinds of crazy information. So we just wanted to dedicate it to that. That was a wild ride.
Yeah, that
And
was a
then
big one.
all kinds of stuff has come out since then. So we got all kinds
Yep.
of stuff to talk about from the beta. Because I don't think there's been really any news in like retail. It's just they're just on autopilot now. But all
And we
kinds of
wouldn't
beta
cover
news.
it anyways.
Yep, true. That's a good point. Um, but yeah, just some of the fallout from that developer update with the the ripcord, pulling the ripcord idea being dead. There was never a ripcord. It was all a joke. Haha, teehee. Gotcha.
Got him.
But yeah, there's just all beta news. There's a bunch of class changes, stuff like that. There's new trinkets in the raid. The whole Mythic Plus loot controversy is going on. We'll talk about that a little bit. And yeah, some bugs they're fixing. They did a bunch of dungeon tuning that was good. They're like actually listening to us about how to fix dungeons, which is nice. Yeah, all kinds of stuff. And something we can start off with. The pre-patch might be coming soon, dude.
What makes you think
Like
that?
like real soon. Well, because how many? What is it like? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 weeks until the expansion comes out. Oh my god, dude, time is flying.
Yep.
Yeah, 6 weeks till the expansion comes out, and the pre-patch is supposed to be like 4 weeks long or something like that. Normally it's a month, so we might be getting the pre-patch real soon. Either next week or the week after that, probably the 29th.
We've
So
already
we'll see what's going on
downloaded
there.
it. 20 gigabytes.
Dang, it was 20. Jesus. Okay.
20
All right.
gigabytes. Yep.
Yeah. But yeah, if you're watching this live, feel free to send in any questions. Maybe we'll do like a little Q&A thing at the end or answer some as we go. But yeah, dude, pre-patch might be soon. I don't know. I haven't done any of the like testing to see
I
what's going on.
haven't
with pre-patch.
touched the PTR at all.
Yeah, me neither. I'm kind of excited. Like I kind of like that I'm not doing it. Maybe it's just because I'm lazy, but it's kind of cool to
Dude,
just
I
be able
feel the
to go in
same.
there
I'm like,
fresh.
I feel like we've been we are the kings of spoiler, right? Like that's like our whole jam is just spoil everything for everybody. But with the pre-patch, we kind of just been so busy spoiling, the expansion that the pre-patch we kind of get a little bit of, I haven't done any of the invasion stuff and any of the scourge shit that's going on. So I'm actually like psyched, dude.
Yeah, all I need to know about the pre-patch is that corruption is getting deleted.
Yeah,
That is
yeah,
all. And they told me that. I'm like, cool, dude. Bring it on. Let's go.
yeah.
You don't even have to come out with the expansion anytime soon, dude. Just get rid of corruption, and I'll be chilling.
Did you hear how they're
I
gonna
don't know.
do it? I have no idea.
What do you mean?
How is corruption going away? Is it just like disappeared?
It's just disappearing. Yeah. Maybe
You just
it'll
you just
say
you
like
just wake up one day, you log on, and your bracers don't have corruption on them anymore.
I think so, dude. It might say
God
like
damn.
this item used to have corruption and blah blah blah, vanquished by the might do some lore shit, but I
Yeah.
think it's just gonna be gone, dude. Because I think your legendary cloak is gonna do something weird, or your neck. I don't know, but yeah, it's gone. That's what I'm hyped
Who
about. And there's
gives
supposed
a
to be
shit?
some
It's gone.
supposed to be some cool pre-patch event like back in the day from Wrath of the Lich King with like ghouls. You can become a zombie or something. You can infect other people. I don't know. I'm super curious to see what it's like, but a lot of people have been messing around with it already on the PTR. Think it's pretty cool. So that'd be nice. Oh my god, that's gonna, dude. This expansion,
Everyone
I'm
keeps
I'm
asking me
so
now, like,
uneasy.
dude, like, I was talking to Shift, one of our French buddies, and he was just saying how he's about it. He's as excited as he was for BFA, which is kind of the same excitement you get for every expansion. Not me, dude. Like, I am so looking, like, after like covering these raids and all the shit that we've been doing with raid testing, like, I know how good this expansion is gonna be, and I'm ready, dude. I'm like ready.
Yep.
Like, I've been setting shit up that I shouldn't be setting up. Like, I have like the cam link to have a better camera that I'm probably never gonna use. I bought some lights to make it so that my background looks a little more fancy, because when I'm streaming, I want, you know what I'm saying? Like, I've been investing just because I'm like excited, and when I'm excited, I buy shit, right? Like the 3080. I was up at 8:00 a.m. EST to not get one because they all sold out before I could hit the fucking refresh button.
Yep.
Is ridiculous. So that, yeah, I'm excited. To say I'm excited for Shadowlands is an understatement. I think it's going to be awesome. I've been playing around on the mage a ton. I hope that it's Frost. If it's not, whatever, it'll be all right. But I'm excited, dude. And that pre-patch just means we're just a little bit closer to that. And then we get to start getting the guilds together. People start, really like, hammering down what they're trying to do, what mains they're gonna be going in, because we're in crunch time, baby. This is preseason. We're now at what do UFC people do? They go on like 9-week-long camps. So we have our 6-week camp coming up, dude.
Ooh. Dude, I don't know. I don't mean to be cheesy, but like Ready Check Poll is like making me, like, us doing this is making me more excited for an expansion than ever. Like,
oh my
this
god,
expansion
yes.
looks dope, but like, bro, the fact that we're doing this and making this work, and like people listen to us on a podcast, like, what are y'all?
Bro, the community is crazy. Like, every day we go into like the general chat and people are posting logs. People are like breaking down week ores. People are like bringing up shit that we didn't even see because, patch notes talked about some random thing about Warlock having Devouring Plague. Now it doesn't stack. Apparently it's called Igniting, which means it just buffs it or something. I don't know. It's like, just like the fact that people are just like putting in random things. As soon as like some crazy news drops, it's like right in the, it's fucking amazing. Yeah, like, I've been having a damn blast. And it's like, it's the reason why I play this game. Like, and it's, I think like you love that aspect too. You play the game for a different reason, but you love that aspect too, the community aspect. And it's like being able to have a community that's awesome while you're also still able to raid in the guild that you, dude, it's like we're fucking in heaven right now with the Ready Check Pull shit going on. It's awesome.
Yeah, it's
we've been doing raid testing with them, and it's great.
Yep. Me likey. But yeah, so I'm looking forward to it. Dude, I don't even know where to start. There's like so much that has happened the past week and a half. I guess, like, okay, so how are you feeling about the developer update at this point? Now that we've gotten some time to think about it and whatever, it's been like a week and a half. About the ripcord being gone. How is that settling now?
So I'm still roughly in the camp that I was in before. Is that I never thought it was like expansion breaking, right? Like, I always thought that it was like, it was something that was bad, but it's not something that would break the expansion, like corruption or, it's not like that bad, right? It's just like, it's almost like just like an annoyance, really, because you can change if something becomes better, and it's like not that difficult to change. It's like a week or whatever people were saying. So it's like, it's not terrible. It's just bad. And for me, I always thought, I'm starting to like even go further. You're gonna definitely hate me for this, but like I'm starting to get further and further to the point of thinking that maybe having more permanent decisions is better for the game overall, even if it's not better for you in a certain scenario, like raiding or just singularly Mythic Plus or PvP or something. Like, maybe it's not better in every scenario, but maybe that's okay. Yes, anyways, it's I'm really in a little pickle, right? Because I think of myself as like a competitive person, right? Like, when I'm playing WoW, like I want to be the best. When I'm playing Valorant, I want to be the best. When I'm playing Call of Duty, whatever I'm playing, like I want to be the best, right? And so like I try to be the best, and I think that might have clouded how I feel about permanent decisions. And when I'm looking back at like all the shit that goes wrong with WoW is never really that it's never really about a permanent decision versus a not permanent decision. It's when they get stuck in this stupid crossroads that they get stuck in, where they don't that, you know, I like that they're making a stand right now, because it's like, no, we're making it, this is a decision you have to make, and you will not be the best in all scenarios. It's just not possible. And this, we're standing by this because we think it's best for the game. And I think that's so much better than doing some half-ass like, all right, we're going to give you some of what you want and not some of what you want. So I'm actually not upset about it. I would like it better if the abilities were universally swappable, like freely. I don't even know how to say that anymore, but I'm not pissed that it's the way it is right now, because it's going to be cool to be a part of something, a covenant that has a buff somewhere that's good. You know, even though it brings along with it some negatives. So I know you're definitely on the other side. So I'm curious to hear your thoughts about what I just said.
Well, it's interesting that you say like we're not going to be in like a middle ground crossroads kind of thing where it's like is it permanent or not? And it's like they're trying to make it permanent, but they're also letting you change your covenant every week. So it's like, wait, like literally, it's been like confirmed that you can change your covenant, like, to back to one that you already changed away from, the one that's supposed to take a long time. You can do that once a week. So it's week permanent, which to me sounds like a middle ground permanence to me. But I get like what you mean.
So
is like
the middle grounds that
is locked behind it.
The middle ground that I was talking about was having systems that go around your covenant abilities when you don't have that covenant ability, right? So it's like, or like making it so that it's like really annoying to change, or something like that would be terrible. Like it would be bad if it was like how Azerite is, where it's like, 10 gold, but it stacks up to it's like, it's not like that. It's right. Like you pick your covenant, and to change it, it's gonna take a week. And it's like, all right, well, that means that I don't have to think about it again until I feel like it's either the balance is wrong, or maybe I want to experience the other covenant storyline, or whatever the situation is. I don't have to think about it at all until they do something drastic, like nerf or buff, or things like that. And I think that's great. I think that's great, because if you were stuck and then they had to nerf an ability, that would feel freaking awful, dude. That would feel really, really bad. If you're like, all right, I'm going Bastion because I want to throw this spear, but then they're like, you no longer throw this spear. It's now a buff that goes on you. It's like, well, that's not what I wanted. So, being able to change is, I think, is we're still sticking to our guns on, you have to pick what you want to be, but if it's really bad and we do a bad job, you can change. And I think that's good. That's a good middle ground.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah.
If there is one.
Like, man. Yeah, there's basically nothing. There's nothing.
I don't see anything wrong. I don't see anything wrong. Like I can't see a scenario where I'm livid that I don't have the other covenant ability, because it's kind of like, if you just don't have it, you don't think about it, and you kind of work around what you have. And I don't think that's terrible.
For me, it will be.
Yeah, explain.
I tell you that much. I don't know, like, I don't want to like dwell on like how bad I think it is, because maybe it ends up not being that bad. And it's like you said, where you just you pick the raid one, like if you're playing a mage, you're supposed to be ready to play all 3 specs. There's no way in hell that one covenant ability is going to be the best for all 3 of them, let alone like on every fight. So you're gonna be, in my mind, you're gonna be screwed over one way or another by this system. But maybe you get lucky and Frost is just the best for the whole raid, and the Kyrian one is just the best for the whole raid. So you just play Kyrian Frostmage for the whole raid, and the system is fine. You know what I mean? Like it's just it is what it is. You don't get to choose what you want because one of them's bad. Anyway, it's just it's all bad in my eyes. So I don't know.
But that's for the
I can
extremely
live with it
high
maybe.
end, like the extreme high end, right? So like we're talking the people who are like the people who are in your guild are actually willing to not only play every spec, they're willing to play 4 of the same class to make sure that they have that power. That's a little crazy. Like, you know what I'm saying? That's a crazy mindset to have with the game for something that could potentially only be a couple percent better throughput. But there's always these downsides, right? There's always something that's a trade-off, and having that 5% more damage in this scenario that you're looking for might have a downside on you're missing out on some type of utility. Like let's say you're a priest and you have to go the Night Fae, and then now you're just losing out on the teleport, which it might be more damage, it might be more healing as a disc priest or whatever, but you're losing out on the mobility that you would get. So there's definitely other things that go along with it that kind of balance out whatever percent it could be for throughput. And that's all we're ever talking about, right? Like the only reason why you're ever upset is for throughput. It's like, I will not do as much damage as I'm supposed to do. It's never anything else, right? So, maybe there's other things that will make up for that. And that's that, at least at my level, again, the 200 US level, 300 US level, like that's we're cutting edge raiders. We don't get it last, and we definitely don't get it first. And I think most people are going to play 1, maybe 2 specs, 1, maybe 2 classes, whatever, however they go about doing it. But they're going to be okay with whatever they pick. Maybe they'll be super excited. Maybe they'll be a little bit upset in some scenarios, but for the most part, they're going to be okay. And everyone that's doing lesser content than that is going to be super okay, right? So like, it's really only the super high end where it becomes bad. And I agree that it's going to be fucking bad if you have to play a couple mages. That's never good. That is never, ever good. And that does suck for the higher end guilds that, there's nothing you can do if the damage check is that nutty and you have to pick a certain covenant, right? There's literally nothing you can do. You have to be that. So it's either you're just worse and not brought, or you switch to your second mage. It's like, that's fucking, whoo!
I'm not doing that. Yeah.
Oh, god damn.
But that could be, what I should do. That could be, if I want to play optimally, that could be what am supposed to do, and that's just so unfortunate. To be blunt, there is no redeeming factor about this entire covenant locking idea. The covenants are cool, and the idea of picking one and whatever, and for lore and like store reasons, I'm cool with all that stuff. But locking like the power stuff has zero redeeming qualities to me. Like they're all bad. It's just all different shades of bad. And I don't want to I don't want to go too ham on it, but like that's just God. I'm so disappointed after that. Like, and the ripcord was there, and I was hoping for it because he said
I thought
100%
it was gonna go through.
right.
100%. I thought
for sure. Yeah, we were so sure that they were gonna do it, which is like the worst part. We built up our hope, but
so the best case scenario for you would have been a talent situation where you use a tome, you swap your covenant ability, and you're basically good to go from there. And so that's would have been your perfect scenario, right? Like it doesn't matter, not the covenant, you don't switch your covenant, but you switch which ability you get to use. So it's like, I'm on this AoE fight, I want this, covenant, or I'm on this single target fight, I want this covenant, and just to switch them freely would have been your perfect scenario.
Yeah, you can lock literally everything. You can even lock the signature ability to just lock everything but the damaging ability, and we're good. I don't need any more. I wouldn't want to be able to swap entire covenants, because that's one thing that we talked about before. I don't know if we talked about it on the podcast, but I have a feeling that simming in this expansion is going to be a whole new beast. Uh, there's just as far as I can tell, there's so many more combinations of things to sim. Which you'll be able to rule out some of them and like just not ever sim them, I guess. But like, bro, the combinations of
Oh my
conduits and
God,
soul
I
binds
know.
from every single
I
different
know.
covenant and the ability with the legendaries and the
Raid Bots is
ugh,
making so much money coming up.
yeah,
Oh my God.
they're about to
But
make
like,
bank, dude.
think about it, dude. Like, think about it. Like you're no longer going to have a stat priority that you can just go to Icy Veins and check it out, right? Like you're going to have to be like, all right, well, which legendary are you using? Okay, which covenant are you? Which spec are you? Which race are you? Which class? Like, and it's going to be like, all right, if you're all of these things, and then now put in the talents that you use. Okay, now we got your priority. It's like, what? It's like,
Yeah.
holy, like that's going to be wild. But
So
I don't care about that, right? Like I don't care about that because more complexities never bad. I think it would have been better the other way, and it would have been even more simming the other way, right? Like you're gonna have to also sim every goddamn covenant, which you probably will anyways, just to see if the one gives you more of an advantage over another one. But man, like, could you imagine like having to sim every covenant? Like, let's say they unlocked the covenants completely. You had to sim every covenant every time you got a piece of loot. I
Yeah.
would bang my head on the keyboard.
for
Like,
every
Jesus.
boss, yeah, it would be bad. That's why I understand like they dug themselves into like a crazy hole where it's like, okay, yeah, you have to lock them somehow. So just unlock this one tiny little part and everything will be all right. But
How close
yeah,
do you think they're going to get them for each, first off, for each spec? And then we'll talk about more than that.
not
Like,
even close.
you think for each
It's not
spec,
even
like,
gonna be
I'm
close
talking
at
just
all.
damage, right? So you think
Yep.
that that you'll pick Covenant 1 and then Covenant 2, 3, and 4 are just dog shit.
Well,
Like really
it's
bad.
it's about like severity, as we always say.
Yeah, that's what I'm
For
asking.
for me, or like for hardcore mythic raiding guild, right? The balancing is going to be so terrible. It's going to be the worst because yeah, like these abilities aren't happening in a vacuum, right? They're not just balancing the abilities between each other. You're balancing them with the rest of your spec, legendary
Yep.
synergies, conduit synergies, the fight,
Yep.
different layouts. There's no, and like different content, whether you're doing Mythic Plus or Raid, it's just there's no way in hell any of the abilities are going to be balanced at all. Like not even close for my measure. For doing like heroic rating, it's not going to matter, like they're all going to be okay. They're not going to decrease your DPS. It's just, yeah, for like from a being optimal point of view, like they're not going to get anywhere close. There will be for your spec, there will be a best covenant and a best legendary and a best talent build with the best stats. Like every spec, I'm sure, as it always is going to have a perfect combination of things, and everybody's going to play
Yep.
that one perfect combination of things, and there's not going to be much crossover. But
I'm
weirdly
hoping.
enough,
Go ahead.
I was going to say, like, weirdly enough, a lot of the covenant abilities, like some of them are really cool and interesting and change how you play, but a lot of them are really boring. They're just like fire and forget stuff.
Yep.
A lot of the legendaries are really boring, like they're way more boring than the covenant abilities. A lot of the conduits are boring. It's kind of like a Azerite trait situation where you end up taking like the generic ones that just give you stats or like do random damage. They don't actually interact with your class. A lot of that stuff is going on where your guy just does more damage now. Like you don't press your buttons any different, you just do more damage. So there's a lot of that going on where
Well,
I
no,
don't
I
know,
think
like I don't even feel that impactful.
every class has like one or two that change your rotation and then one or two that are just, set it and forget it.
Look,
I
man,
think that's how it works with everything.
I wish. I've been playing a lot of specs and watching a lot of streams.
But
There's
no,
really
like I'm
not much
thinking about
difference.
the ones that I've been playing, and like there's the mages obviously do, and then warriors obviously do, druids obviously
No,
do.
no, there's one. There's one
That's what I'm saying.
option.
There's
You
always one or two that change your rotation, and then there's
It's
three or
it's one.
three or two or
It's
three
one if
that.
you're lucky.
No.
I don't know what to tell you, man. I've been playing this shit a lot. It is just that it is what it is. You play enough specs, you see the pattern. They have to make things boring, like because most of the legendaries and stuff are just old tier sets. You know, like they're not even old legendaries. If they are old legendaries, they're like nerfed versions of the legendaries, or they're like so busted and overtuned that they're obviously going to get nerfed. I don't know. I feel like I'm being too negative, but I'm not. I'm really. It's weird because I'm so hyped for this expansion because of all the circumstances and like them listening and all this crazy stuff that they've been changing. But this whole covenant thing, the conduit thing, is just like really rubbing me the wrong way. It's got me really worried. The expansion might still be good, like despite all that stuff. So I mean, I still kind of got my hopes up. And there's still a weird chance that they rip the ripcord
That they rip
later.
the pull cord.
There's a chance that they just do it in a later patch. You know,
Yeah.
they do it in 9.1 or 9.2, and then like things just make sense. And okay, by the way, I think we talked about this way back in the day, but my new crusade, so to speak, since they're not pulling the ripcord, what's the next big thing that we should push for? You know what I mean? As ready check pull.
Well,
To me,
1,000%. It's the fucking conduit's not switching.
exactly, yeah.
Oh my
So
god, it's that. That is.
100% our
If it wasn't
our
this, that's what
new
we should be talking about.
That's what I'm saying, dude. That's what I'm trying to segue to, dude. Our new crusade, our new mission as Ready Check Pull is to get conduits to change automatically when you change spec.
How dumb is it that it doesn't? Like, it's not that it's like unbalanced or it's just annoying. It's literally just
Yep.
annoying that's the case.
Yeah, so that's our thing. Because right now they don't change at all. If you're ret and you have all ret conduits in there, you change the prop paladin, you still have all ret conduits, and that just feels really dumb. Like you either have to switch to a different soul bind, you know, of the three, which might be worse, you know, might be suboptimal, which is like kind of continuing with the trend of covenants just being okay with being
Okay,
suboptimal.
you know me. I always like to give Blizzard the benefit of the doubt. I try to look at the the gray, and I'm trying to think of like, is it just like programming time? Because there's literally like lore wise, it makes no sense. It's like I don't understand. It's like you were a frost mage, now you're a fire mage. I don't like you anymore, and now you have to pick a new dude. It's like that is kind of
Right.
weird. And
Well,
then
the whole thing makes no sense at all. So it's like even trying to pretend that it makes sense is like it's just make it good, man. Nobody cares about conduit
like
lore.
and what I want to know is what does Druid do? Like there's only
Exactly.
3 soul binds. Then Druid got 4 specs. Like
Yep.
what do they
So,
do? Just like they
I
go
don't-
fuck off somewhere.
we need I don't know, we got to come up with a hashtag for pull the conduit ripcord, you know? Like I don't know what the hashtag would be for making conduits change with their spec, but bro, that's a big one. I don't really hear people talk about that as much.
No one talks about that.
Because everybody is focused on the there's a week lockout for changing your conduits, which is like kind of whack, but like I kind of get why they're doing it because they don't want you changing conduits all the time. So there's a week lockout, so everybody's focusing on that. Get rid of the weekly lockout. That sucks. And it's like, well, what actually sucks? I mean, that does suck, but like that's if they just make it so your conduits change when you change specs. I'm trying to think. I'm trying to compare it to something. It's like your essences. Like your essence swapped whenever you change specs, I think. Because it would be really dumb if they didn't, right? So just have it work like that. They just swap over like your essences. This whole system is basically like essences. So that would be great. And then the weekly lockout is like really not a big deal because you can play all of your specs. You already have all the
Well,
conduits.
did you know that they just added?
Need to change them so much.
They just added that you can only change your gems and enchants once a week. You know, they just added that your gloves and bracers can only be swapped out once a week. You know,
change your talents.
You can only change your mount once a week, dude. Like,
you can only change your transmog.
Yeah,
once a
it
week,
just doesn't
dude.
make no damn sense. Like I get the whole week thing. It's fine, whatever. But like when you're changing specs, it's like it just doesn't make any sense to have that type of like clunkiness. Like I said, it's like it's not even a big deal. It's just so clunky, and it seems like unnecessary that it almost seems like they're going to fit, like that's gonna be something that's in the works, right? But then they're like, no, it's not, because we're gonna also make you get locked out for a week. We're like, wait, that's not what we wanted. But I guess they were trying to make that shit fucking permanent, where you had to go and farm the relics. That was who thought of that idea,
dude. And so the conduits have a whole like ranking, like scaling system that we haven't got to test that at all. Like they're supposed to go up 15 ranks and like scale this crazy degree, so like we don't even know how that works. We don't get to see how do you rank up? Nobody knows. It's just a thing they said exists. There's 14 ranks of every conduit. Dude, they are lost in the sauce. They are lost in the sauce with this whole thing. All
right. Enough shitting on them. Let's talk about how the dungeon loot is shit, dude.
Can you wait? Can you?
No, I'm just kidding.
Oh yeah. Enough negativity. Dungeon loot sucks. Can you talk about the bear stuff? Because I feel like we debated people with the old
title. First off, there's a couple things that happen with bear. Okay, first is they got infected wounds back. They removed Lunar Beam. God bless that they removed Lunar Beam.
Yeah.
And then they replaced it with a new talent that it's called Tooth and Claw. That basically means that every auto attack has a chance to make Maul do more damage, right? And it also has the chance, or the buffed Maul reduces the target's damage to you by 15%. So it's like a little mini. It's a mini bark skin, and it makes Maul do more damage, which means it's more useful to press. And it stacks up to 2 times. Zax thinks it's giving you 2 Mauls. I haven't, got to completely test that shit out. But I think first off, that's amazing. And hold on a second. Hold on. I know. Giving them back the slow means that thrash kiting is now a thing again, which is fucking awesome. Being able to like kite around some mobs that are slowed right out of range, having the balance affinity selected means that you're able just to like run around in circles. Everything slows. They can't really hit you. It's awesome. That is super awesome. Getting rid of Lunar Beam, super awesome. And then this new Maul replacement, replacement is awesome. And then they also added Ursoc's Fury Remembered, which is, if you don't, what it was before was you had a chance. It was like the artifact little ability trait at the end where you had a chance to proc another thrash, right? Which in itself I was super stoked about. I was like, all right, this is gonna make me play Guardian again, because all of their legendaries are sick. Like, and not all of them, but they have like 4 or 5 that are like really good. And then they just added that Thrash grants an absorb shield for 100% of all the damage it deals.
Yeah, on that legendary.
On the legendary. What that means is that when you're in Berserk or Incarn, you're just thrashing everything, doing more damage per thrash, getting a ton of shield. You're basically immune to dying for 20 to 30 seconds. It is out of control. And then sometimes it can proc the extra thrash. So it's like thrash. I have the giant shield. It is insane. It is so exciting. They're going to nerf this into the fucking ground. But right now it is so fun. So fun.
It's definitely like the hey, this is the Mythic Plus legendary. It's like they might as well write that on the legendary. Pick this one for M plus, because it's like,
and everything else.
You press, well, it's really, really bad in single target, but anyway, you press Incarn. I think it lasts 30 seconds. You thrash every global for those 30 seconds, and you get a shield for every thrash, and you got Iron Fur going. You just cannot be killed. Like in AoE, like the shield is like
the more targets you're
nothing on single target, but in AoE, dude, like the shield is just always there.
Hitting one target isn't useless. Hitting 2 targets is good. Hitting 3 is amazing. And anything above 3, you're just a fucking god at that point.
Yeah.
Like,
Yep.
it's
And you're doing a lot of
insane.
damage.
Yeah, and you're just crushing the damn 2. Like, so they basically just gave Guardian in Mythic Plus, they gave Guardian good single target with Tooth and Claw, which you wouldn't take. I guess you're going to take Rend and Tear anyways. And then they gave them an AoE slow, extra damage on Thrash, and then a big ass shield. It's fucking wild. Like, that's such like, and I already thought Guardian was going to be good. But it gets, oh man, it gets me so excited because that's going to be the alt. That's going to be what I'm playing. And then they just made it so that it's just even better. Gets me going, dude.
They're trying to bring it back from the dead, dude, because it's, from everybody playing it and testing it, everybody's saying it's down in the dumpster, it's boring, it's old, it's old design, it's the noob tank. So I think they're trying to bring it back.
But 100% we were the loudest when it comes to removing Lunar Beam. 100% we were the loudest.
I think that's been going on for a while.
Bro, Lunar Beam was absolute dog shit. And then in the Guardian like recap, which now I guess we got to do a new one. In the Guardian review, like I spent a good 30 seconds on Lunar Beam needs to be gone. And I'm so happy that it's gone. Oh, that just gets me excited.
A summary of your Guardian Druid video was like, Lunar Beam needs to be deleted. Maul sucks. And I want to proc crashes.
Yeah. Exactly. That's so. Oh man. So that gets me super excited. There's also a few other class changes. I don't know if you want to talk about that now, or did you want to go on to something else?
I don't know. It's like I feel like it's been kind of light. These past couple things. It's just been like they change something about Moonkin literally every week. They make some like sweeping change to like they're somebody at Blizzard is a Moonkin for sure. Somebody high up is like really focused on Moonkin, dude. It's insane. I don't know. It's 100%. It's like the most, I don't know what to say, focused spec like in Shadowlands. Like Shadow Priest got an entire redesign, dude. Like they got changed more than any spec, but like still somehow Boomkin has more like patch notes and changes and fixes and updates and whatever.
I'm pretty sure every single class change build that they do, Balance has something going on.
Yeah.
While other classes like Demon Hunter literally got ignored for the first 3 months. Like, so
don't even think about it, dude. There's so many. I wish that's one thing about I don't want to go back to the Covenants, but that's one thing about the whole Covenant thing. I wish, I always talk about, maybe not in the podcast, but how they need to choose how to allocate their resources better, in my opinion. They are spending like 60% of Blizzard entertainment on Covenants, trying to make that shit work. And the classes are just getting like, a lot of the specs are still unfinished. And you know what I mean? Like they're just, stop it with the Covenants and make the classes good, man. Like that's why we play the game. I don't know. That's a whole other tangent. But a lot of the class changes and stuff lately, like it's clear that they're kind of moving slightly getting into the tuning phase of things, because they nerfed like a bunch of like random things that were just like super OP, like the subtlety rogue legendary.
That got gutted for damage wise.
Yeah, it's kind of a weird one because before I've been watching a lot of sub rogue stuff. So before this nerf, it did so much single target damage that you played it in dungeons. You played it in AoE situations. That's how much single target damage it did. There are 16 targets. You press your single target button. It was stupid. It was like 50% damage increase for your entire. It's just stupid. And the way they changed it, they basically changed it exactly how like reasonable sub rogues wanted it to be changed. They got rid of the combo points thing and they made it shadow damage. It's like, that's perfect. Well, and they made it like 50% instead of 100. So it's still like by far, like by a lot, it's still the best single target legendary for sub, which is like, oh, okay, cool. It's still got the same niche. It's still really good. But it's not to the point where you stop pressing your AoE buttons. You know what I mean? Like it's your single target legendary, but it's not your legendary anymore, which is like, hey,
Yeah.
cool, boom, perfect. You nailed it, sweet. But that kind of remains to be seen. But they nerfed a lot of destruction warlock stuff. There's like a really crazy conduit that they had, so infernal will be a little bit less insane. I think they cut it at least in half. The infernal damage because that was getting kind of out of hand, and then uh prop paladin is still a little bugged, but they nerfed the shit out of prop paladin damage. I don't know, have y'all seen prop paladin stuff on stream, like seeing what they can do? Because it's been kind of crazy. I know we've been talking about it in our Discord and stuff, but shield of the righteous, their active mitigation, yeah, does more DPS than a survival hunter. That one button just
Yes.
does more damage than an entire class.
Not anymore.
So, yeah, they're gutting it a lot. There's a legendary that was buffing it that they nerfed. There's a conduit that was buffing it that they nerfed. So they're starting to bring things a little more in line. And then some like
They were like the
how
glass
long-
cannon tank. Now they're just glass.
What's funny is that's one, but I don't know if maybe they fixed it. But there's actually a bug with another conduit. What do you know? Conduits are bugged. Where you could just have an infinitely long Ardent Defender buff, which is just 20% DR and you can't die. You could just have that forever. Because you would just, every Shield of the Righteous you cast, like, increase their duration, so you just have a 30-minute Ardent Defender. So it was actually not Glass Cannon. It was just the tank that did the most damage by a million years and could not die for a while there on the beta. So, it's
yeah,
a
but
little
like,
funky.
I haven't been hearing anyone get excited about prop paladin because everyone knew that shit was going to get nerfed. Everyone knew that shit was broken. It got nerfed, and now no one's excited for prop paladin anymore, right?
Yeah, it's cool because I mean, well, okay, there's kind of a trend with tanks apparently in Shadowlands. I feel like I'm having deja vu. I feel like we've already talked about everything, but because we talk about this game so much, but it feels like they're making tanks just weaker in this expansion, like just in general. Like every tank is just like less survivable on their own. You're like more dependent on your healer and like pulling less and blah, blah,
I
blah.
think that's a good thing.
Yeah, I wouldn't go that far, but that's kind of the trend. Is like all tanks are squishy, if you want to put it that way. And where people are trying to figure out, okay, which tank is the least squishy? Like every tank is gonna die if you pull 2 packs. That's exaggerating, but every tank is gonna die real quick.
Right
So which
in
one
BFA
dies less quick?
In BFA, it's really annoying being a tank, maining a tank, as I did, having this whole corruption system, and you don't give a shit how much corruption you have. Like you're just like it almost was like if you didn't get one shot, you just didn't die. And like, I mean, maybe it was because I played Brewmaster, but like it always felt like you just ran in and you held threat, and threat is never an issue. Like you're never gonna die. There's no like issue with that. So your healers are just pumping damage now because they don't have nothing else to do, and it's kind of just dog shit, right? Like it's kind of just like I hate that they went away even in Legion. Like we're just too strong. I feel I'm glad that they're going. Maybe it's a mistake. Maybe they're not even supposed to be. They're not trying to do it this way. But I'm actually glad that like if there's like 4 or 5 things, like before the nerf, the bears that put the debuff on you in the dungeon, like that was scary. You ran in, you were like, all right, I gotta do some damn, and then I gotta piece the fuck out because I'm gonna die. And I like that aspect of it. I don't like just going in there and doing my rotation. Like you're not a tank mage, so you want to do rotation, damage, right? But like tanks who play tanks, they want their mitigation to matter. They want to know like that they're stronger than another tank because they use their abilities the correct way, rather than just spewing all your damage all over everything and then nothing happens back to you. And I don't like that. I don't think any tank really enjoys that play style.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. I have my doubts. Because me playing it, I would hate that shit. But I get that it's a mindset thing. Uh, but yeah,
It's
there's
kind of
a
like healers want to be able to DPS, but they don't want to only be able to DPS. Like if no one took damage in a raid and all they were doing is DPS, then fucking pick a DPS. Like, like you play a tank to tank, you play a healer to heal. It's because we feel like, typically as a tank main or a healer main, like people like us, we feel like DPSing is boring. Right? Just like you feel like healing and tanking is boring. So when that's all you end up doing, you kind of get bored and it becomes like a meh type way of playing. But I don't know.
Yeah, it gets to the point where you're doing your, like right now, if you do a plus 15 or whatever on the beta, you do your active mitigation perfectly, whatever that means. However that plays out with your spec. And you still just die to like melee swings. It's like, I don't know if that's really the extent we were going for here.
Well, you
So
only
I don't know.
if
There's
you
a lot of that
died from
going on.
melee swings, you're typically doing something wrong beforehand, right? So it's like you either pulled too much, you wasted all your cooldowns, you didn't use your active mitigation the right way, or the dungeon is too difficult. Like, too difficult for you in the gear that you're in at the time. So like you either fucked up beforehand where you're in that situation where you die from a melee swing.
Yeah, I think maybe what it is like tank survivability preventing you from progressing in like a mythic plus or whatever it is, raid or dungeon. Tank survivability is like the least satisfying thing. Like they all, that's that being the reason why you can't
No,
kill
I
something is,
totally disagree.
I'm not saying from the tank's point of view. I'm saying from like the raid's point of view, where it's just like, oh, like we don't even get to play the game because our tank keeps dying. He's doing everything perfectly and he just dies. Like, okay, that's not what we.
Until you get a good tank that doesn't do that, but making every tank feel the same sucks.
The best tanks
doggy
in the world
dog.
die. When the best tanks in the world die, and then I don't know. There's just a trend. I don't know if it's gonna be good or bad, but there's a trend. It's like people are saying, "Oh, Blood DK is the best tank in Shadowlands. You can actually like pull stuff." And then you go into the dungeon, you're playing a Blood DK, you know exactly what you're doing. You're one of the best DKs in the world. You pull 2 packs and you die. And you're like,
well, don't pull 2 packs then. Pull 1.
Well, by 2 packs I mean like
listen. That's literally what I've been saying this whole time. Is that they're doing something like the mindset before is you run in, you tank everything, and nothing happens to you. If you die, it's because DPS wasn't good enough or the healer wasn't good enough, and tanking almost certainly wasn't anything, wasn't any reason to that pull being successful. It's like, oh, maybe an interrupt. Maybe you got an interrupt off that a DPS didn't get or some shit like that, and that doesn't feel good. That doesn't feel good for the tank. I get that DPS gets, they could get annoyed if a tank dies or whatever. But, maybe if threat was an issue, maybe having things like tricks and misdirect, maybe those things will start becoming prominent.
Oh, God,
maybe it would be all right to CC something that's too big. Those things are important aspects of the game. I don't think they should be ignored completely.
Okay, threat should be ignored completely. That mechanic's bad.
Disagree.
That mechanic, they even got rid of skittish because it was so bad.
Oh, shut up. I agree that skittish was just, well, skittish was just a nothing. It was literally nothing. That's why they got rid of it.
No, it was bad.
Nothing.
And it kind of feels like skittish is like baseline now because like tank threat's really bad in Shadowlands. So I don't know what's going on there either. But that's what I'm saying. It's like I feel like they're bringing it back to where your utility and shit matters, and that should matter. You shouldn't have sheep to never sheep. You shouldn't have dispels to never dispel. You shouldn't have active mitigation to never use it. Like it shouldn't just the whole dungeon shouldn't just be, all right, how much damage can we do? How quickly can we do it? And how much shit can we pull at the same time? That's so boring and outplayed. We did that shit in Legion. We did that shit in BFA. I'm done with it. I want the game to go back to being a skilled game. Hard disagree, but it is what it is. We agree to disagree on that one.
We agree that you're wrong. No,
I like doing that.
Yeah, we both agree that you're wrong.
But I mean, yeah, we'll see how it plays out because you might kind of get the best of both worlds a little bit. There is a scenario where kind of both things happen. You know, you can kind of mix and match what you're doing in the dungeon. Although the
Yeah.
dungeon design has been kind of unfortunate, apparently, from a Mythic Pluser point of view. But that's a whole nother thing. I feel like it's weird because I'm so conflicted in my mind because
Bro, you're getting
I'm
pulled in
I'm
two directions.
yeah, I'm so in my mind, I'm so excited for Shadowlands and it's gonna be so good, so sick. Blizzard is like learning from their mistakes with a lot of stuff. There's no Titan forging. And
No
there's no
Titan
AP
Forge.
there's no AP grind. Like, oh, this expansion is gonna be so good. There's so many good things about this expansion.
But then
And then there's a lot of bad things. So it's
But
like,
then you turn on a stream of some stupid high-end tank or
what
some shit
what
who has to bring you down, and then you're like, oh, yeah, he's right. No, he's not right, Zax. He's not right.
no,
Don't listen
I've
to
been
him.
playing myself.
Don't listen to him.
It is. Speaking of which, dude, one thing that a lot of people are bummed about, which we've been talking a lot of bum. Anyway, uh, there's a whole conspiracy. Controversy. That's the word. There's some controversial shit that just came out about Mythic Plus loot. Like the loot that you
Ooh,
get.
I think we're on the same side of this one, but this is a good one. This is like actually a good, like, which side of the fence are you on? And
Yeah.
I like this conversation. Let's get into this one.
So all right, Mythic Plus loot has been a hot topic for a while. What kind of loot should you be able to get? What item level, I guess, of loot should you be able to get out of a dungeon? If you're doing a
And how much you
plus,
should get. Yeah.
if you're doing a plus 4,000, you're doing like the most ridiculous high key. Should you still be getting plus 10 loot when you're doing that high of a key? When you're doing a plus 30, or should you still be getting that? It's like it's a little weird. Like, is it more difficult than Mythic rating? Anyway, the news is that the in dungeon loot, the highest it's gonna go is 3 item levels below heroic raid. So before it's been equal. I think it's like what you get in the dungeon is the same as what you get from heroic.
Yep.
I think it was the same item levels, like 470 or whatever. But now it's going to be 3 item levels below. They're on like a weird, not like everything was in intervals of 5 before. Now
Correction,
it's in like
it's at the end of the dungeon, not the weekly vault.
Yeah, that's not what I said. I said in the dungeon. Yeah. In the dungeon, you get 3 item levels below heroic, which has been even for a while. And then in the weekly vault, I think it's like everything's shared, so that thing's kind of a mess. It's really good, but it's just a mess. I think that's all mythic raid level. But anyway, so in the dungeon, you're not going to be able to get heroic raid level loot. It's close. It's real close, 3 item levels off, but it's worse or lower item level than heroic raid loot. And a lot of people are real salty about this, because, like I said, like pushing a high key, pushing a plus 20 early on is a million times more difficult than heroic rating. But you're getting worse loot than a heroic. It's like, I don't know how I feel about that. And then I don't know. People are kind of losing their mind about this. I think Mythic Plusers have been kind of salty about this for a long time, and this is just like more salt on the wound. It's a lot of salt words. So I don't know. Yeah, how what are you thinking about that?
All right, so when you talk about I'm gonna say doing 10s to 15s, when you're doing that, I think it's not awful to be a couple below heroic level loot, but I think the problem starts to come in when you're not just, like you were saying, 3 or 4 levels, whatever, like you're 3 levels below the first 8 bosses, and so going off the Wowhead chart, you're the 2 bosses, you're 10 item levels lower, the last 2 bosses, right? So like you're actually like 10 item levels lower than some, and I could understand that feels really bad. It just, because I do want people who are pushing 20s and stuff like that, who are really like investing time, just like people that are investing time in PvP. I want, if you're investing a lot of time in the game in your aspect, there should be an avenue for you to be comparable to the other aspects of the game, right? So if you're Mythic Plusing, you should be able to be comparable to a Mythic Raider if you're doing the highest stuff. Same with PvP or whatever. But what you were saying before totally, you know, flipped my switch, is that as soon as you make it so that you can get mythic ready gear, like mythic raid gear from doing like a 20, then that means you have to do the 20.
Yeah, exactly.
And then you're like, oh fuck. Like now it's like, now I have to do this thing where it's like, is it better that I don't have to do it, but I can get some upgrades until I start mythic raiding or PvPing? Maybe Mythic Plus is better in the grand scheme of things. Maybe Mythic Plus is good to be a stepping stone, you know, just another way for you to be ready for mythic raiding or PvPing. And so maybe that is a better thing. It does suck so bad though for the people who only Mythic Plus, but I think that has to be the smallest subset of the WoW community, right? Are people who only Mythic Plus. Like that has to be even tinier than PvP, like, right? Like that can't be a massive amount. And so that's where I'm at with it. It's like, because for me, I'm, you know, like the most I'm ever going to push is, you know, I'm always going to get 15s done. And then if I'm pushing just to push for fun, it's going to be like maybe an 18. But then you think about this, right? And you're like, if I was mythic raiding and let's say like I got loot off of the first 8 bosses, but the last 2 don't drop loot, you're just going to kill them once and never do it again, right? So it's like you lose that incentive, and it's a little bit weird, right? Like it's a little bit strange, and I'm not sure how to think about it. Like, you know, how I feel about it after going through all the pieces. Like, so I'm actually curious to what you're thinking.
So I'm cool with it from my point of view, and like ultimately for the health of the game, I guess. Like, you know, it's hard to put myself in everybody's shoes, but like I'm cool with this. I think of dungeons as they've always been in WoW, literally have always been in WoW, are a stepping stone to raiding. It's fairly recent that Mythic Plus even entered the picture. Even when challenge modes were in the picture, they weren't better than raid gear, right? And those were like a million times harder than heroic raiding. So this whole idea of like scaling dungeons is like kind of a new thing. I think there's still, you know, getting your plus 10 done is still should be a stepping stone toward heroic and mythic rating. I like that, but I understand if I try to put myself in the shoes of a resto druid. Resto druid is insane in Mythic Plus, right? It's the best healer. It always will be. There's nothing they can do about it. Apparently, Blizzard doesn't know how to adjust that. They're clueless. So Resto druid is just busted in Mythic Plus.
So mean today. Holy shit,
dude! It is what it is. Although, on a random side note, they brought back the engineering battle res. Which is
all right. Cool. If we're getting on that, then I'm super excited about that.
We're not a side note, but yeah. So they brought back engineering battle res. So battle res is not so big of a deal. They're still good, but anyway, Resto Druid. If you're a Resto Druid and you like Mythic Plus and you're like, I'm pushing Mythic Plus, that's my thing. I like that. Kind of like our friend J.B, as everybody probably knows. You like Mythic Plus, that's your thing. You're the best in the world at it almost. Or you know, you're one of the best in the world. You like, if you like doing Mythic Plus as a Resto Druid, you want to just pump and do the highest keys you can in Mythic Plus, but you have to raid to get the best Mythic Plus loot. And then how the trend has been lately, Resto Druid ain't so good in raid, so it's hard to find a group that wants a Resto Druid. So it's like, dang, not only do I have to raid, and that sucks, I can't even get into a good group because I'm a Resto Druid. It's like, oh man, do I have to raid as a balanced druid? Like, what do I do? Like, I can't do the thing that I love in the game to the highest, you know, to a highest degree, you know, because I have to do this other thing. It's like that's where it kind of breaks down for me. Because
that comes with the territory of doing the highest content,
I guess. But like to me, but at the same time, I can pretty much get away with, if I want to be the best Mythic Raider, I can 99% of the way get there just rating. You know what I mean? Like I
Yeah.
can rating is it's like the
Uh,
premier.
no,
It's
no.
like
I don't know. I don't think
well,
so.
it's
No, no, no.
my point is like it's like seen as probably by Blizzard too as like the premier thing of wow.
That is true. Yeah.
This is the thing that we do in our game. That's like our thing. We raid, we make raids. You know, we're never gonna have an expansion that doesn't have raids. You know what I mean? Like that's big. And that makes sense to me, but it does kind of fall apart when you have like the best PvPers in the world doing like the most insane shit, and they have to raid. It's like, okay, wait, I don't really. The best Mythic pluses in the world are doing MDI. They're like pushing the highest keys you've ever seen in your life. They have to raid too. It's like, where is there a way to work around this? Which I think the weekly vault is kind of doing a good. It's kind of a little workaround kind of thing to make it so that maybe a mythic, if you only Mythic Plus, at least you get one Mythic raid piece every week, and there's going to be a lot more choice. There's going to be a lot less repeats. If you do 10 Mythic Plus, which is a crazy number, but not for a Mythic Pluser, you get 3 choices. You get more choices. You know what I mean? And then maybe you do heroic raids. I don't know. I'm cool with this whole it being 3 item levels below, because what's 3 item levels? Not very much. Other than the heroic bosses, which 10 above, right? You said, yeah, 7. Anyway, I'm cool with it. I think it's gonna be kind of weird because for the past couple raids or expansions or whatever, it's been like heroic comes out, and the best thing you can do is grind the shit out of Mythic Plus because it gives you heroic raid gear, and then you can
Yeah.
go into heroic already geared, already being heroic raid geared, and just destroy heroic and probably trade almost everything you get. You can master loot it all around. Like that's a big part of split rating or whatever. Like you can
Yeah.
do a shit ton of Mythic Plus, go into raid, everybody's all heroic geared. You can trade all the raid stuff around to like make it all optimal and stuff. And there's no
So
Titan forging to screw that up anymore. So, but now that is gone. For the first week or 2 or whatever, every single person in the world is going to be below heroic item level. So like like limit and whoever ends up coming up won't be able to just like mass loot everything around and like bring in pugs to like force trade their loot and just do all this crazy stuff. So it's like it has kind of an interesting side effect on the whole world first race in a weird way.
yeah, I was gonna talk about that too. Is like I can't really get in the headspace of the top of anything, right? Because the top of anything they're playing, like I play this game when we're really going ham. I play this game a ridiculous amount, an unhealthy amount that any psychologist would say there's something wrong, right? And there's people at the top end of Mythic Plus, there's people at the top end of rating and the top end of PvP that play this game 4 times as much as I do, which is just like, you know what I'm saying? Like it's like an insane level. So I think everything that it seems like they're doing, I'm kind of happy with, because at my level, again, like we're gonna do plus 15s, but if we had to force our way up to do more, that would suck. And the fact is like now we can just do our 1 weekly if we want to, because after we start doing heroic, then we don't have to do Mythic Plus. It's like it started to get to a point in BFA where you had to do a ton of Mythic Plus, a ton of PvPing, all of your world quest, and all of the raids. Yeah. It's too much, man. It's like way too much. And I'm so glad that they're knocking all this shit down. They're like, there's a point where you going into Mythic Plus is not going to help you. Obviously, doing your weekly vault or whatever will help you a bit. But going into Mythic Plus is not going to help you. Now, if you want to go into Mythic Plus because you want to complete all your 15s and get that achievement, if you want to get your Raider IO score up, whatever, perfectly fine, cool. And then the same thing goes for rating now. It's like you can't just keep rating. Like you could only go as high as you can go until the week resets. And so it's kind of keeping it in that whole same vein. And I'm happy because that means that now people who couldn't keep up, right, that I thought were good players, but just like, I mean, if you're working, family, all this other shit, you can't keep up with all this. And to try to be in a cutting edge guild before, you had to do all of that shit, right? Like You really had to you had to manage work and life, and then you had to do all your world. Dude, I remember, you remember when Han used to he used to wake up before work because he would work like 10-hour days, dude. He woke up before work 2 hours early so that he could get all of his world quests done early in the morning before work. That is fucking insane, bro.
That's silly, yeah.
Like that is crazy. So I'm glad that this goes another step forward of making it so that I don't want World of Casual Craft, right? Like I don't want that, but like there's a, just have some bars that we fill up. And I like that this is another bar that as soon as you're item level 207, 210, 213, whatever, you're like, I'm basically done with Mythic Plus other than my 1 to 2 that I have to do a week for my weekly vault.
Right. Yeah,
I'm really happy with that. I like that this direction that they're going into.
Yeah, for sure. Instead of how like you said in Legion of BFA, it was because of Titan Forging, and other stuff. Like it was always been if you should just be doing Mythic Plus all day every day.
Bro, we used to when the new tier came out, instead of going into heroic, we spent the whole day doing Mythic Plus. The whole guild we managed out to get teams of 5 with the whole guild to do Mythic Plus until for whatever reason, and then we'd go into heroic. It's so fucking backwards.
It's still, that still might be worth doing. It's not as extreme as it was, I guess.
Well, before you did it because of Titan Forge, not because of the end loot. Right. Like you would get a piece of Titan Forge that now you have mythic cutting edge level gear, dude. It's like,
oh, cool. I don't need to do the last boss anymore.
Yeah, it's like it's crazy. And so and then also you had the Azurite pieces that you had to get too, so it was even more aids. So yeah, I'm happy. Like, man, I'm loving what they're doing with the whole expansion right now for making it so people who can't play all day don't have to play all day and feel like they're behind. They're like, dude, it's not like I'm playing a little bit, dude. I'm still playing like 30 plus hours a week. That's a part-time job. You know?
And now
this is my job. No.
Not only are those people going to be able to like keep up with their main in a more healthy amount of time, they might be able to have an alt that's like perfectly maintained too, like it's not like it's main friendly and alt friendly, this expansion. There's so many good things happening.
Yeah.
God, it's so weird how I don't know, divisive I guess this expansion might end up being. Like there's
this might be like a reflection of real world a little bit. It's like the high end is like, except it's the opposite, right? The high end is like, fuck, you're really screwing us. Like we want to be able to shove our face into this game, and then the people who have less or played less are like, well, we're fine, and they're like, yeah, fuck the casuals, and we're like, well, then fuck you. So it's like it might divide the top and in the lower end.
Yeah, it's gonna be weird to see. I got one more thing, but we want to do like a little Q&A real quick at the end here. So start sending your questions if you're watching live.
Yes, please.
But
we got hold on, but first off, all right, we'll wait. But we got a super chat from Blackbeard again, who I gotta give him a shout out. But we'll talk about that in a second.
Yeah, last thing I wanted to talk about was it's just a little thing. The raid trinkets have been introduced into the Dungeon Journal, data mined, whatever. We're kind of discovering what the raid trinkets are going to be like, which is always interesting. I think they're still putting in like dungeon trinkets too. But a lot of them are, pretty generic. Like they're a little bit more creative than usual. So check those out. Wherever you can find them. But a couple that caught my eye. There's I guess it's gonna be like a tank trinket, but it works it has main stat on it for, or I guess agility and strength. It's a cheat death.
What?
A cheat death trinket. Yeah. When you suffer,
which one is it?
It's the splintered heart of Alar. Oh, that's Alar. It's from Sun King Salvation. That was a little bit of a spoiler, but yeah, when you suffer lethal damage, you like burst into flames, doing damage to everything around you. Wait, it does damage to allies. What the? and then
Oh,
recover blah 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 health. It can only happen every 8 minutes, which is like the cheat death kind of timer. So it's a
yeah.
cheat death trinket that like bursts into flames, hitting allies and enemies when it happens. It's like what?
That's a
What
damage
kind of?
increase.
Yeah, you gotta die on purpose. Just wait. Friendly fire appearing on the damage meter? Wait, no, that probably won't work, right? Just AoE
That'd
your
be
allies, the
wild.
pad. But yeah, there's a cheat death trinket, dude. I mean, that's pretty rare, right?
Hold on. Yeah, I got to think about this. Do I like that?
Yeah, this is another. I was about to say, is another kind of divisive thing. So it's like that's basically like a tank trinket. I mean, most people can probably wear it, but it's kind of a tank thing. So it's like, tank's having a cheat death, whatever. I don't know. As long as it doesn't get weird where DPS start using it and like cheesing stuff, which might end up happening because that's an early boss. You know, we'll see how that goes. But there's another cheat death trinket, bro. There's
There's
two cheat death
two?
trinkets. They both, but the other one is like it's like a healer one. It's an intellect one, and it's a on use. So it like I don't know how long it lasts.
Oh,
Um,
like Angel from Priest, the guardian angel or whatever.
I don't know. It's like
You give it to a bro, if they die, they don't die.
I don't know. I read it before, and I guess I misread it. I don't know how long it lasts, but it's like
I
a
can't find these ones. I'm
you
trying
can
to
put
look.
it. It's like a 2 minute on use thing. So you can like put it on an ally. It lasts 6 seconds. It like heals them, does healing at the end of it. I don't know how it works, but if they suffer lethal damage during that 6 seconds, I think is how it works. They'll cheat death and they'll get healed for the full value of the trinket. Just like what, dude? You can
Yeah,
like
that's
that's like
guardian angel. That's
that's the
awesome.
craziest external. Yeah, whatever that's called, guardian angel from like Holy Priest or whatever, guardian
Yeah,
spirit.
that's great. Yeah, guardian spirit. That's what it is. Yeah, it's great.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's a little six
I
second.
like that better than the
You
set
can't
it
die
and
button.
forget it one.
Yeah, that's pretty crazy. It's got some skill cap to it. Uh, so we can see some crazy stuff from that too.
Yo, imagine being a
So
demon hunter with that and
okay.
and you have the trinket, you have the cheat death from your talents, and you have your healer has that. Okay.
It might get a little wild. And there's a cheat death from your soul bind you can probably get.
Oh my god.
Oh Jesus.
We're gonna be
Yeah.
cheating on death all day, like my one.
Wait a second. There's a lot of weird trinkets in here, dude. But so we'll see how those play out. But yeah, those kind of caught my eye having cheat deaths. That's like a
Yeah, that's a bit crazy.
I don't know. I don't know how I feel about that one. But yeah. So what's up? We got some questions. You want to start with Blackbeard?
Yeah. Let's talk about Blackbeard. Thank you so much for the big super chat. I didn't get to read that right when you did that. I appreciate it so much. Zax appreciates it so much. Tell me how I should feel about Shadowlands. It seems meh.
Bruh, you tell me, man. I'm lost in the dude. I'm so torn on this expansion right now. Because when I don't know how do I put this? When the stars align, you know, when you got the right covenant and you got the right conduits, you got the legendary you want, you got your class, you're playing a class that you like, you know, when all the stars align, this expansion is sick. Like it's
So
sick.
sick.
And I haven't even gotten to experience a lot of the like improvements that they've made from other expansions, like not having a endless AP grind. Titan Forging hasn't really come into play for me to see how that plays out. A lot of and like Torghast, you know, we've messed around with it before and it's awesome, but like we don't get to fully experience like the fruits of your labor there. So some stuff going on with that. But I'm like when the stars align, dude, this expansion is sick. It's just there's the chance there's thorns on the vine, you know. There's chance that you might run into a situation where you just feel real bad about it, you know. You're playing the wrong covenant. You don't have a night fae when you're doing the Miss Eterna Scythe dungeon and you wipe and you go all the way back to the beginning of the dungeon. You're like, what am I playing? Why? You know, it's just certain things in Shadowlands that are like, oh man, this expansion's so sick, and then you just run
Yeah.
into the why? I hate this game. There's a lot of that going on. So sometimes everything goes perfect, and this expansion is one of the best I've ever played.
Yeah, I think this
So who knows?
expansion is definitely gonna be one of the better expansions that I've played throughout the years. And you never really know until you actually play it. But I remember when we were doing BFA and we were in beta and we, going through, it's just like I did not have that feeling. Like I just had a feeling of, this is going to be a good game. It's going to be a WoW expansion and we're going to try everything out. Hopefully it's fun. But like, it's not like this, man. Maybe it's the Ready Check Pull community or whatever. But like, I'm really in. Like, dude, the raids, man. Like, I can't tell you how exciting I'm just so excited to raid again. Like, just to do these bosses. Like, Nyalotha, I was so done. Like, Queen Ajara, I just did not want to do. Like, I literally was, like, in the progression of doing the Queen Ajara Mythic, and I'm just like, what am I doing here? And it's like, I'm so glad that right now all the bosses are fun. All the classes are that I want to play are fun. And I'm excited about that. All right, here's another question. This is from Sai. Oh, go ahead.
I was gonna say that was a good point you had. Like, relating it to BFA, I don't really remember ever really having like my hopes up for BFA. It was like even in the beta, I was like, oh man, oh no, this is not good. Maybe they
classes were slow.
Here, but, this is not looking good. But Shadowlands is kind of the other way, where it's like this expansion is gonna be dope, except for maybe these things.
Yeah, exactly. Anyways, all right. So what Sai was saying is that he just he asked a question he couldn't keep watching, but he said he's gonna be listening to it later. He wants to know basically, is Torghast gonna be relevant throughout the whole expansion, or do you think it's gonna become unnecessary after the first raid tier?
I think they're gonna make it. You're gonna be doing it the whole time, because it's either you're getting the legendaries for the first time, like the whole reason you do it is for legendaries, or just for fun, because it's actually fun. So you're gonna have to do it to unlock the legendaries in the first place, but you're gonna be able to upgrade your legendaries through like their item level or whatever throughout the entire expansion. Probably like every raid patch or whatever, you're gonna have to upgrade the item level of your legendaries, which you have to do Torghast to get the stuff to do the thing to upgrade. So like they're gonna make it. It's probably not gonna be like you literally have to do it every single week. It's probably gonna be like you get the stuff that you want, and then you're good until the next time they come out with stuff. Maybe they come out with new legendaries, you got to unlock stuff like that. But yeah, I could see it happening in kind of in phases.
I hope that if it does end up being something that is continued throughout the expansion, which I think it will too. I agree with all your points. I hope that they try to do some cool, innovative things. It doesn't seem like they have to care about balancing with Torghast, so they could just throw in some fucking crazy wild shit. And then now it's a fun expansion, and now it's a fun thing to do for the whole expansion. I mean, so I'm actually looking forward to seeing what they're gonna change and how they're gonna iterate on Torghast. Myself personally,
yeah, it's like Torghast is such a good idea, bro. Like it's just a little sandbox. Like every time I look at like tuning changes, like it's all in the spell changes. I see like anima powers, blah blah blah, Death Knight, blah 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 blah, just all these random things change. I'm like, that doesn't actually matter because it doesn't have to be balanced.
Exactly.
You don't have to care about balancing in this. Like you can go in there by yourself or with friends. That doesn't matter. You just go in there and you blast. Like balancing is not only does it not matter, it's impossible, and that's not even the point. You're just in there to like blast and have fun. So like, I don't need the tuning changes. Like, who cares? Just go in there and have a time of your life, dude. That place is gonna be sick at first.
Yeah,
and then it'll probably get a little old, but still be fun.
The last thing we probably should address is that he's saying big Guardian changes. It was just one optional talent and very little tiny Moonfire buff, but that's not even what we're excited about, right? Like what we're excited about is the legendary giving 100% absorb on Thrash, which takes Guardian from being the worst dungeon tank in the game to possibly the best dungeon tank in the game. We don't know because we have to do a lot more testing. You say, but when you're getting 100% absorb and shit that stacks and stacks, the shit gets crazy.
Yeah, during Incarn, you're the best tank in the game for sure.
Just during bigger pulls, man, means that you have bigger shields, and that's pretty wild. So it's a really exciting thing for a tank that was overlooked basically all of BFA. So I'm happy that them and Vengeance is getting some love as well.
Yeah. The funnily enough, like it's a big Guardian change, but it's like a long overdue. Them deleting Lunar Beam, like it doesn't like in a vacuum, it doesn't sound like a big deal, but that has been like a stain on this entire game.
Oh my god,
that has been the worst.
Like it's not. It's like they made it the worst on purpose, right? They like. It was like it always did no healing, absolutely no damage, and it was always like 30-minute cooldown. Like, why the hell would you ever pick that thing? I don't know, but I'm glad that it's gone, dude.
Yeah, everybody, everybody's main, I feel like, can all relate to like just seeing seeing one of those talents on your tree and just be like, why, man? Why is that?
What is this? Because everyone tries it.
Gonna take that. Yeah.
And they're like, what the fuck?
Yeah. So it's like them getting rid of that is like it's just like it's kind of a trend for Shadowlands in general. It's like not necessarily a positive on its own, but it's like getting rid of a negative. Just like sometimes feels better. I don't know.
Bro, did you see the fan made screenshot that was going around? The one that's like, it's like right at the gates of Ice Crown or whatever, and it's like, I don't know. It's fucking insane. Anyways, I just wanted to say that we should probably wrap it up here.
Shadowlands is a rose with sharp thorns. That is a big true. Man. Oh, yeah, true. We should wrap it up. But I was gonna mention they changed PvP stuff a little bit. Which I don't know why I'm bringing up PvP stuff, but they're doing a weird thing where all PvP gear, as far as I know, at least the stuff on the vendor, every single piece of gear from PvP is gonna have versatility on it, which is a little bit of a weird one. And a
cop out to resilience, but
yeah, but the reason why they're doing that is because they're making like that's like a two-piece bonus if you have 2 PvP trinkets, where like the value of versatility is increased by whatever. If you have the 2-piece, but
I was actually super happy when I read that. Like I thought that was great.
Like, so yeah, if you have like, it's like a weird PvP power resilience thing going on where like if you're a PvP or most of your gears from PvP, you're gonna have a ridiculous amount of versatility, which is like the most boring stat in the world, but whatever. But if you get that 2-piece bonus whenever you go into a PvP situation, I think even war mode, your versatility is like gonna multiply. You're gonna have just ridiculous stats.
It just means that war mode is even better now. Hell yeah.
Oh yeah, graded. Why is war mode still a thing? Like, what is
because
what sense does that make?
PvP is fun, Zach Zachi.
No, yeah, I meant from a lore perspective. Like, we're not at war. I thought we're cool. Like, we're dead, man. Well, we're not dead. We're going into Shadowlands. Why are we fighting each other, man? We got bigger stuff to worry about.
True. All right. Let's wrap it up. Oh, let me tell you right now that my name is Jim Fro. We do this every Friday at 3:00, and then we post it back up on Saturdays. This is my boy Zach Zachi. If you want to close it out, do so.
Hi and bye. Hashtag conduits change with spec. Yeah, that's gotta be.
We'll work on that. We're gonna
gotta be a better
please.
hashtag.
Hit us up in the Discord with suggestions. Thank you. All right, bye guys.
Bye. Have a good one.